welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Cheesecake and welcome back to another PS2 retrospective where we look at old games from your childhood and my childhood and we reminisce about them together. Yep, this just in, adulthood fucking sucks, and the only thing that makes me feel better sometimes is reminiscing about when I had no responsibilities and life was so much simpler. Today's video will be about a game that is a little bit on the niche side, but if you know, you know. In a world of useless PS2 attachments like the iToy, one particular controller stands out as a technological marvel.
Yes! Hello! Crocky Moses! What's my name and what am I doing here? I am Buzz, and this is Buzz.
Buzz is a family-friendly, quiz-centered video game created originally for the PS2. This is one of those games where you have no idea how you ended up owning it. It just kind of like apparated into your TV unit one day, and the rest was history. It ended up with a long lineage in the game series leading all the way up to the PS3, but most of these are just the same format repeated with different topics and themes. So let's jump into the starting game in this series, Buzz the Music Quiz. The game opens with a cutscene showing us the characters that we will later get to choose from, and we get Ugly Man, Ugly Man, Ugly Man, and the woman who helped shape who I am today. The eclectic mix of characters in this game is really striking and appealing. They all have very distinct, clear personalities from their appearance and just some simple mannerisms. And of course, we are introduced to Buzz and his assistant, and the decision to make her resemble Jessica Rabbit while standing next to the love child of Elton John and a Muppet is definitely an interesting choice, but an appreciated one nonetheless. The main menu is presented to us in a very unique and creative way. We are pushed through what appears to be a backstage replica of the game show we are about to play. We are able to choose between old and new music, which is a very smart addition since it allows the user to curate their playing experience and expands the targeted demographic for the game. After selecting our character, we now have the very important task of selecting our buzzer sound, and
I heard them all.
How am I supposed to choose? This was the blueprint for... Now, the style and format of this game show are very unique to the game. It doesn't quite feel like you're watching an episode of Jeopardy or Family Feud. In a way, it somehow feels a little bit like American Idol with the music ditties, opening sequence, and this eccentric host. Speaking of, wow, is Buzz a character and a half.
But right now, I have to say a big welcome to whoever's playing on the show. Welcome!
Buzz is wildly entertaining. He is snappy, funny, and his voice acting is really phenomenal. You know how we were all a bit too young to distinguish accents, and so every piece of media kind of all blurred into one category? Well, I will never forget how Australian Buzz sounds to me. We didn't get much Australian accents or performances in media, especially video games. So Buzz being so heavily Australian made the game feel a little bit more like homemade to me, if that makes any sense. Like the Target or the Big W that my parents would have actually bought this game from, it feels as though this game was recorded and made in the back of that Target or the Big W, and I was the lucky recipient of the first and only copy. The rules of the game are really simple. You complete various different styles of quiz formats where you are just guessing the titles and artists of songs, with a particular focus on music from the 70s to the 90s era. In other iterations of Buzz games, the format is mostly the same, with the focus instead being on topics such as sports or movies. You compete with up to 4 players and battle it out to win the most points, where the winner receives a random prize at the end. It might sound simple, but the quiz minigames and song pool are so interesting and varied that this game is actually very replayable and entertaining as a party game. And probably the most integral element of this game's success is one of the most unique and interesting pieces of PS2 hardware, the Buzz remote. Show 100 bitches the Buzz remote, 99 of them will know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, this game had the balls to take a huge risk by pouring money into a standalone hardware accessory, but this little remote right here remains ingrained in the memory of 20-somethings around the world to this day. In reality, this thing was super finicky, the wires would constantly get all tangled, and owning a pack of 4 was extremely inconvenient to store. But in the mind of a 6-year-old, this thing was fucking everything. The design of this remote was so distinct that anyone who played this game could immediately recall its purpose, and nothing like it existed in the market before its conception. I was discussing this video with my best friend who couldn't initially recognize the name Buzz, but once I said the PS2 remote with the huge red button, she immediately caught on. And how simple is this design? It's very Wii Remote-esque in my opinion. It is universally friendly for both young children and older adults that otherwise might not be very video game inclined. This game being so accessible to varying age groups and actually enjoyable because the music that they put in there was actually good music, led to a lot of really sweet memories of me playing this with both my mum and my dad, and them actually enjoying their time instead of me roping them into every difficult level I had ever encountered, which is pretty much like level 2 on every game. This game also produced some interesting junior spin-off games that were more like a Mario Party clone, focused on minigames rather than a game show type format. There's 5 of them in total, but since they're mostly just reskins of each other with the same premise, I'll focus on the one that I had as a kid, which is RoboJam. The premise is very easy. You choose between one of 4 robots, you complete a series of minigames. The person with the highest score at the end wins. You've played this game before, probably hundreds of times, but this is admittedly a great variation of the Mario Party formula. The art design is very cute and colourful, the minigames are very fun and engaging with unique ideas, and the music is... and the narrator.
Well, hello there, robots!
So camp. The minigames include restyled concepts like pass the bomb, horse racing, rhythm timing, and my favourite, Crazy Cook, which is a red light-esque minigame where you force feed the robots beans to the point of sharding everywhere uncontrollably. Because there are only 25 minigames, you might find that you run into the same ones on repeat playthroughs, but I didn't mind this at all. In fact, as I was watching the playthrough, every time the narrator would announce the next minigame, I kept saying, oh, I loved that one, and that one, and that one. Because the Buzz controller was quite limited and not as flexible as a Wii controller, I feel that the devs had to be more creative with their ideas. The minigames have a consistently clever idea with a competitive feel, though they are never too complex or conversely boring for a 7-year-old to enjoy with their 45-year-old parents. Not to mention that this is, technically speaking, a bit of an educational game as well. I in retrospect, I didn't even realize it, but I think a lot of my sort of foundations of music knowledge was kind of resting somewhat on the fact that I had played this for like 50 hours as a child. I had learned so much about music that I literally had no idea what I was doing. My parents knew. I was just fucking pressing the buttons because I didn't know what AC/DC song was playing as a 5-year-old. And the other games were really great as well. I genuinely think that they were very like fun education. Fed-education, there's a word for it. I don't know, like I just think it was really one of those games kind of before its time, because I feel like the Wii really built on this idea later on, but it was just like a really simple, family-friendly co-op, couch co-op, sort of like you just had dinner, you get the popcorn out, you want to play something as a family that every age will enjoy. This is that game. There's just nothing quite like force-feeding a robot to shitting its pants with your family. But anyway, I just want to do a little quickie today because Buzz is a bit more of a simple game to go over. But thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I super duper appreciate it. I don't make this for any other reason than to just have a bit of fun, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. I'm rocking the Tamagotchis. Bye!